No, obviously I'm happy with the result tonight. You know, the guys I thought played solidly. We're pleased that we shut them out. You know, that's one of the things that we talked about in preseason, that we wanted to do a better job defensively. I thought Evans did well for his first game, you know, first real game at center back. You know, I thought that part was solid. And the thing was, you know, I'd said earlier that I wasn't too concerned about the preseason results because it's a veteran team. And I think they, you know, as I told them, you know when the bell rings, and they were ready tonight when the bell rang. You know, they were ready to play. So I was pleased. You know, I think the shutout was very helpful. The work that Nagel and Pappa did, not only offensively but defensively for us, really helped us in that regard. So I want to make sure I compliment them on that.
Jeremiah.
What did you think of Azira's play in the middle there?
Thought it was okay. You know, I thought Mike was solid. You know, broke up some plays, which was very important. He sat in that hole. You know, sometimes we'd like him to play forward a little bit quicker at times, but, you know, especially with them playing a three-man, you know, three guys in the middle of midfield, I thought there was a lot of work for him and Pineda to do. And, you know, along with Nagel and Pappa, I thought they did a good job of keeping that group in front of them. You know, it was only really at the end where they started knocking the ball around, but the game was over at that point.
Katie.
Sigi, you mentioned Pappa's play. Can you just talk a little bit more about what you saw from him in terms of creativity and specifically just his impact on that third goal?
Yeah, well, we never worry about his creativity. That's always present. That's always there. You know, we're trying to get him to come from outside in a little bit more, you know, so he gets a little more space, has a little more room to operate because he is a good passer. But, you know, I think the third goal, the opening pass, the ball he plays through, which unlocked them in the back, you know, to Oba was fantastic. And the whole combination in the running from Pappa, Oba, and Clint was fantastic on that goal. But those are things that Pappa can provide. You know, if he's camped in there all the time, then it gets too crowded. And so, you know, that's the thing we've been talking a lot about and working on a lot. But for him to go in there, I have no problems with him going in there, popping in, popping out. You know, then he can do that stuff like he did tonight.
Great cross to set up Oba for the second. What kind of extra dimension does it give you guys if you can provide service like that regularly?
Well, that's what we talked about. We said that Tyrone was a good crosser of the ball, and obviously he demonstrated that tonight. So, you know, he picks and chooses his moments a little more when to go forward, but he picked some good moments to go forward, and when he goes forward, he's generally effective. And you know, tonight was an example of that, and I think that's what you're gonna see. I thought defensively he was pretty solid back there, and I thought he also helped us in our attack at vital moments. And you know, that's, you know, as we continue on and the guys recognize, and depending on who you play, sometimes there's more space, sometimes there's less space on that side of the field. You know, but it's certainly something that'll open up for him.
Coach, Marshall last year played as a defense on the right side. Today we see him a lot on the left. That was Evan's choice, or you planned it that way?
No, it was really, you know, as we started playing Evans back there, we experimented around a little bit. Evans felt more comfortable on the right. Chad said he doesn't care if he plays right or left, doesn't matter to him. You know, so they decided they were more comfortable on the right and Marshall on the left. If Zach Scott would have played tonight, Zach would have probably played on the left and Marshall on the right. But Chad, you know, he feels fairly comfortable either way.
Was there maybe a thought of bringing in Kovar and Roldan, perhaps to give them a little bit more minutes after the 3-0?
Yeah, but the team was playing well, and some guys, we wanted them to get minutes as well in terms of just getting their fitness and things like that. Marco Pappa is one who he gains a lot more fitness in games sometimes than training, so we wanted to get him the minutes, you know, and get him out there. We thought the team was playing all right. We didn't want to disrupt our rhythm. Nagel took a knock, you know, so we brought on Rose. You know, I sort of killed Roldan a little bit because I wanted to bring him on, you know, at the 89th, 90th minute, but I'm superstitious. I don't like to sub on defending corners. And so I told Forthright, don't sub on the corner, and then the ball didn't go out of bounds forever. So his lack of minutes is my fault.
It seemed like Clint and Oba were on the same page, working pretty well together. Was that good to see on the first day of the season?
Yeah, it's always good to see. You know, I mean, the two of them are just, you know, I mean, the stuff they pull off is unique and special. I think our fans here, are seeing something very unique and special when they see them play together. And, I thought it took them a little bit of time to get into their rhythm, but then afterwards, when they got into their rhythm, I thought they were good. But individually, they're just so dangerous individually. And then collectively, it makes it hard for center backs because you're not sure when to step up, who to step up to, because they take turns dropping into that hole.
Coach, given the 3 goals and then shutting out the team that finished top in the East, how does this help set the tone for the rest of the year?
Well, it's just, we want to continue to play well. We want to do as well as last year, but we want to do better. We all know what we want to do better at, so I'm not going to keep mentioning that. But it's for us, it was important. We're at home. We're getting back in front of our crowd. We talked about letting the fans be happy tonight. I think we let them go home happy. And, it's just a matter of continuing our play. We'd love to win Supporter Shield again. That's a long road. We'd love to win Open Cup again. That's a long road, too, and that's a ways away. We want to advance in Champions League, and we want to win MLS Cup. So all those are still goals for us, and we want to play well week in and week out. We know we're going to have times where it doesn't go off as well as we want it to, but we got to keep pushing through those hard times as well.
You mentioned Marshall moving over to help Evans. How much easier is making some changes center back, experimenting a little bit when you know that Marshall's the other guy back there?
I mean, certainly it makes life a lot easier when you're playing your first game at center back to play next to a guy who's the only 3-time defender of the year. So that certainly helps you. But Chad and Brad have a good relationship, not only on the field but off the field. There's a good understanding. They both talk. Brad probably talks more, but it certainly gives you comfort knowing that Chad's back there. I think his decisions, and he's already taught Brad some things. I think you saw Brad today a couple of times reach around and knock balls away, which is a very Chad Marshall type of move. So I think they're already learning.
Have you ever measured Oba's vertical leap?
Man, he's got the biggest quads and thighs on the team. So when you got that, you can definitely jump. But that was he's. He doesn't play like a guy who's his size that's listed. He's so athletic, and that was a fantastic header, and his ability to get up in the air. Plus, it wasn't like a running jump. It was straight up. Yeah, so it was pretty impressive.
Sure. Hey, as great as Clint is, how much more might we see from him in a season in which his schedule is less hectic, more traditional?
I think you're going to see more from him this year because of the fact that he was able to get a break in the off season. I think last year, our season ending, him taking a very short break, then him going over to Fulham and getting back in the rhythm in the World Cup year, it ended up being a long year for him. And I know that Jurgen was a little disappointed maybe, in his fitness when he came in, but I think the break, Clint needed that break mentally and physically. And, his fitness is coming along all the time. We see it by the numbers that we keep track of in training. And, I think he's capable of doing more than last year. But, I'm sure he feels the same way.
Was there any thought of him going on loan this offseason, or was that never really in the...
No, that was never thought about.
I was wondering if any, across the league this first weekend, if any individual or team got your attention, and also just what you thought maybe of that 60,000 in Orlando.
Well, it's fantastic. I think for the league it was fantastic to get 60,000 there. They were all in purple, so that was pretty exciting. I don't know. I know they're adding some stands here, so I don't know how big that makes us, whether we can beat LA Galaxy's record for the opening game attendance. Maybe that's something to get our fans charged up about next year, to try and beat that record. I think they had like 68 or something, so I don't know if our capacity exceeds that. But, that was tremendous. I wanted to watch that game just from the standpoint of the spectacle of it. Certainly getting guys like Kaká and Villa into the league, are important. The Portland RSL match was, like all matches are in Portland, hectic and end-to-end and a battle. And, Nick Raimondo showed that he was already in mid-season form. So it was good. It was good from a lot of factors to see, and to see different teams. A lot of teams made changes. Toronto Vancouver made some changes as well. That was a game that, the first half was pretty much Vancouver, second half was Toronto. But I think the league's in good shape. Teams are getting better. And we're happy to get 3 points at home.
You mentioned that it took a little while for Clinton Oba in the first half to kind of find their rhythm. Was there a moment when you started to sense that click? It seemed like after that first goal, everything kind of started to come together.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a goal, your confidence grows and you start going. And Pineda did a good job right after the goal of stepping up and getting the guys to press a little bit. And and I think that's what helped create our second goal, because he really sensed that hey we can push here a little bit, we can step on their throat a little bit, and so he's very important to us on the field at those moments. And then Clinton Oba, sometimes just takes, again, a real game, real timing, because preseason veteran guys, they don't want to get hurt, so when the real thing's there, they're willing to go in.
Yeah, Stefan Frey's play in the back, how he was reading the game, and then he had a pretty good save on.
He had more than a good save. That was a world-class save, the one he made going down to his right and at a very key point in the game. And it's so much harder as a goalkeeper to play for a good team. Okay, because when you play for not an easy team, if you play for a team who's not so good and you're facing 10 shots, if you make 8 saves and you take 2 goals, you look like a superstar. But when you're playing for a good team and you only face maybe 3 shots that are dangerous, you got to come up with 3 saves. That's a lot harder. And making saves at key moments of games are what separate the truly outstanding goalkeepers from the rest of the pack. And tonight, I thought he came up with a world-class save at a very key moment of the game for us.
Anybody else? Thanks, guys.
Thanks.